listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 233. We're continuing in the book of 2 Chronicles. So after King Solomon came Rehoboam, and now after Rehoboam, we are now looking at Abijah, the king of Judah. Remember, Israel is divided between northern Israel and southern Judah. And so Abijah goes to war against Jeroboam from the north. It's a north versus south. Now, Abijah, he's only got 400,000 soldiers. Now, that sounds like a lot. But Jeroboam has twice as many. He's got 800,000. So Abijah, completely outnumbered 2-1, does something that Jeroboam does not do. Stay with us to find out what Abijah does to turn the tide of battle in his favor. And then we'll be looking at the successor to King Abijah, and that's his son Asa. Asa becomes a king of Judah, and he decides to clean up Judah from all the corruption and false god worship. And in fact, he's so intense about it that if anybody in Judah does not worship the Lord, they're put to death. So yeah, Asa is pretty radical about following the Lord. And in this case, church and state are not separate, but they are one and the same. And so because of this, God gives Asa a long time of peace, during which time Asa is able to fortify the kingdom of Judah. And for 35 years of Asa's rule, there was no war. We're also continuing in the book of 1 Corinthians. Paul is still discussing the different types of spiritual gifts, really focusing on the gift of prophecy. And that really, no matter what happens, whether it's prophecy or speaking in different tongues or being the person who can interpret those tongues, whatever they do, it needs to be helpful in building the church. If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started. 2 Chronicles chapter 13. Abijah, king of Judah. Abijah became the new king of Judah during the 18th year that Jeroboam, son of Nebat, ruled Israel. Abijah ruled in Jerusalem for 3 years. His mother was Maacah, the daughter of Uriel, from the town of Gibeah. There was war between Abijah and Jeroboam. Abijah's army had 400,000 brave soldiers that he led into battle. Jeroboam's army had 800,000 brave soldiers that were ready for battle. Then Abijah stood on Mount Zemaraim in the hill country of Ephraim and said, "Jeroboam and all Israel, listen to me. You should know that the Lord, the God of Israel, made a lasting agreement with David and his sons, which gave them the right to rule over Israel forever. Jeroboam, son of Nebat, was one of the servants of David's son Solomon, but Jeroboam turned against his master. Then some good-for-nothing friends joined with Jeroboam, and together they turned against Rehoboam, Solomon's son. Rehoboam was young and did not have enough experience to stop them. Now, you people think you can defeat the Lord's kingdom, the kingdom that is ruled by David's sons. You have so many people with you, and you have the golden calves, the gods that Jeroboam made for you. You threw out the Lord's priests, the descendants of Aaron, and you threw out the Levites. Then you chose your own priests, as every other nation on earth does. And now, anyone who will bring a young bull and 7 rams can become a priest to serve these no gods. But as for us, the Lord is our God. We people of Judah have not refused to obey God. We have not left him. The priests who serve the Lord are Aaron's sons, and the Levites help the priests in their work. They offer burnt offerings and burn incense of spices to the Lord, Every morning and every evening, they put the holy bread in rows on the table in the temple, and they take care of the lamps on the gold lampstand so that it shines bright every evening. We very carefully serve the Lord our God, but you people have abandoned him. That's why God is with us. He is our leader, and it is his priests who will lead us into battle against you with the sound of their trumpets. So, people of Israel, give up. Don't try to fight against the Lord, the God your ancestors worship, because you will not win. But while Abijah was speaking, Jeroboam sent some of his troops behind Abijah's army of Judeans. The rest of his troops attacked the Judeans from the front. The Judeans looked around and saw that Jeroboam's troops were attacking from the front and the rear. They cried out to the Lord for help, and the priests blew the trumpets. Then the Judeans began to shout, and the men of Judah shouted and followed Abijah into battle. God defeated Jeroboam and the whole army of Israel before them. The Israelites ran away from the men of Judah, and God let the Judeans capture them all. Abijah's army defeated the army of Israel so badly that 500,000 of the best troops of Israel were killed. So at that time, the Israelites were defeated, and the people of Judah won. The army of Judah won because they depended on the Lord, the God their ancestors worshipped. Abijah's army chased Jeroboam's army, and they captured the towns of Bethel, Jeshanah, and Ephron from Jeroboam. They captured the towns and the small villages near them. Jeroboam never became strong again while Abijah was alive. The Lord killed Jeroboam, but Abijah became more powerful. He married 14 women, was the father of 22 sons and 16 daughters. Everything else Abijah did is recorded in the books of the prophet Iddo. 2 Chronicles chapter 14. When Abijah died, he was buried in the city of David. His son Asa became the new king after him. There was peace in the country for 10 years during Asa's time. Asa, king of Judah. Asa did what the Lord his God said was good and right. He took away the foreign altars and the places of worship. He also smashed the sacred stones and cut down the Asherah poles. He commanded the people of Judah to follow the Lord, the God their ancestors worship, and to obey his laws and commands. He also removed the places of worship and incense altars from every town in Judah. So the kingdom had peace when Asa was king. Asa built strong cities in Judah while there was peace there. He had no war in these years because the Lord gave him peace. Asa said to the people of Judah, "Let's build these towns and make walls around them. Let's make towers, gates, and bars on the gates. This country is still ours because we have followed the Lord our God. He has given us peace all around us." So they built the towns and had success. Asa had an army of 300,000 men from the tribe of Judah and 280,000 men from the tribe of Benjamin. The men from Judah carried large shields and spears. The men from Benjamin carried small shields and shot arrows from bows. All of them were strong and brave soldiers. Then Zerah from Ethiopia came out to fight against Asa's army. He had 1,000,000 men and 300 chariots in his army. His army went as far as the town of Mareshah. Asa went out to fight against Zerah. Asa's army prepared for battle in the valley of Zabatha at Mareshah. Asa called out to the Lord his God and said, "Lord, only you can help weak people against those who are strong. Help us, Lord our God. We depend on you. We fight against this large army in your name. Lord, you are God. Don't let anyone defeat you." Then the Lord used Asa's army from Judah to defeat the Ethiopian army, and the army ran away. Asa's army chased the Ethiopian army all the way to the town of Gerar. The Ethiopian troops were totally defeated, crushed by the Lord and his army. And the soldiers of Judah carried many valuable things away from the enemy. Asa and his army defeated all the towns around Gerar because the people who lived there were now afraid of the Lord. Those towns were full of valuable things that Asa's army took away. His army also attacked the camps where the shepherds lived and took many sheep and camels. Then they went back to Jerusalem. 2 Chronicles chapter 15. Asa's changes. The Spirit of God came on Azariah, son of Oded. Azariah went to meet Asa and said,
Listen to me, Asa, and all you people of Judah and Benjamin. The Lord will be with you as long as you stay with him. If you look for him, you will find him. But if you leave him, he will leave you. For a long time, Israel was without the true God, and they were without a priest to teach them and without the law. But when the Israelites had trouble, they turned again to the Lord, the God of Israel. They looked for him and found him. In those times of trouble, no one could travel safely. There was great trouble in all the nations. One nation would destroy another nation, and one city would destroy another city. This was happening because God gave them all kinds of trouble. But Asa, you and the people of Judah and Benjamin, be strong. Don't be weak and don't give up, because you will get a reward for your good work.
Asa felt encouraged when he heard these words and the message from Azariah, son of Oded the prophet. Then he removed the disgusting idols from the whole area of Judah and Benjamin. He also removed the hated idols from the towns he had captured in the hill country of Ephraim. And he repaired the Lord's altar that was in front of the porch of the Lord's temple. Then Asa gathered all the people from Judah and Benjamin, and the people from the tribes of Ephraim, Manasseh, and Simeon, who had moved from the land of Israel to live in the country of Judah. A great many of these people came to Judah because they saw that the Lord, Asa's God, was with him. Asa and these people gathered in Jerusalem on the 3rd month in the 15th year of Asa's rule. At that time, they sacrificed 700 bulls and 7,000 sheep and goats to the Lord. Asa's army had taken the animals and other valuable things from their enemies. Then they made an agreement to serve the Lord with all their heart and with all their soul. He is the God their ancestors served. Anyone who refused to serve the Lord God of Israel was to be killed. It did not matter if that person was important or not, or if that person was a man or a woman. Then Asa and the people made an oath to the Lord. They shouted it loudly and blew their trumpets and horns. All the people of Judah were happy about the oath because they had promised with all their heart to follow God. They looked for God and found him. So the Lord gave them peace in all the country. King Asa also took away the right of his grandmother Maacah to be queen. He did this because she had set up one of those disgusting poles to honor the goddess Asherah. Asa cut down that Asherah pole, smashed it into small pieces, and burned the pieces in the Kidron Valley. Asa did not destroy the places of worship, even though he was faithful to God all his life. Asa and his father had given some special gifts to God. Asa put these gifts of gold, silver, and other things into the temple. There was no more war until the 35th year of Asa's rule. First Corinthians chapter 14, verses 20 to 40. Brothers and sisters, don't think like children. In evil things, be like babies, but in your thinking, you should be like full-grown adults, as the scriptures say. Using those who speak a different language and using the lips of foreigners, I will speak to these people, but even then, they will not obey me. This is what the Lord says. And from this we see that the use of different languages shows how God deals with those who don't believe, not with those who believe. And prophecy shows how God works through those who believe, not through unbelievers. Suppose the whole church meets together, and you all speak in different languages. If some people come in who are without understanding or don't believe, they will say you are crazy. But suppose you are all prophesying, and someone comes in who does not believe or who is without understanding, their sin will be shown to them, and they will be judged by everything you say. The secret things in their hearts will be made known, and they will bow down and worship God. They will say, without a doubt, God is here with you. Your meetings should be helpful to all. So, brothers and sisters, what should you do? When you meet together, one person has a song, another has a teaching, and another has a new truth from God. One person speaks in a different language, and another interprets that language. The purpose of whatever you do should be to help everyone grow stronger in faith. When you meet together, if anyone speaks to the group in a different language, it should be only 2 or no more than 3 people who do this, and they should speak one after the other, and someone else should interpret what they say. But if there is no interpreter, then anyone who speaks in a different language should be quiet in the church meeting. They should speak only to themselves and to God. And only 2 or 3 prophets should speak. The others should judge what they say. And if a message from God comes to someone who is sitting, the first speaker should be quiet. You can all prophesy one after the other. This way everyone can be taught and encouraged. The spirits of prophets are under the control of the prophets themselves. God is not a God of confusion, but a God of peace. This is the rule for all the meetings of God's people. The women should keep quiet in these church meetings. They are not allowed to speak out, but should be under authority, as the law of Moses says. If there is something they want to know, they should ask their own husbands at home. It is shameful for a woman to speak up like that in the church meeting. God's teaching did not come from you, and you are not the only ones who have received it. If you think you are a prophet or that you have a spiritual gift, you should understand that I am writing to you as the Lord's command. If you do not accept this, you will not be accepted. So, my brothers and sisters, continue to give your attention to prophesying, and don't stop anyone from using the gift of speaking in different languages. But everything should be done in a way that is right and orderly. Psalm chapter 101, a psalm of David. I will sing about faithful love and justice. Lord, I will sing to you. I will be careful to live a pure life. I will live in my house with complete honesty. When will you come to me? I will not even look at anything shameful. I hate all wrongdoing. I want no part of it. I will not be involved in anything dishonest. I will have nothing to do with evil. I will stop anyone who secretly says bad things about a neighbor. I will not allow people to be proud and think they are better than others. I will look throughout the land for those who can be trusted. Only such people can live with me. Only those who live pure lives can be my servants. I will never let a dishonest person live in my house. I will not let liars stay near me. My goal each day will be to destroy the wicked living in our land. I will force all who do evil to leave the city of the Lord. Thank you, everyone. That was day 233. Join us for day 234. We're continuing in the book of 2 Chronicles, getting ready, ramping up for chapter 18, as the north and south of Israel, instead of fighting each other, come together to face a common enemy, King Aram of Ramoth Gilead. And in 1 Corinthians, Paul digresses for a moment from lecturing the church in Corinth to now giving them hope and reminding them of why and how they're doing things, that there is life after death. And have come to find out there isn't. Then Paul and his Christian brothers are the biggest fools. But Paul is absolutely confident and reminds the church in Corinth to be confident that if Jesus was raised, then those who belong to him will also be raised. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.